There's been a lot of controversy surrounding this investigation. But what we do find magical is that you healed a boy of consumption. You may be the only person to do so successfully. What we want to know is what treatments you...
No treatments. It's a gift from my late husband.
Carry me out to sea, and I will make you rich and glorious for life. Mine, forever mine. Farewell, farewell for years of 9. In return for the comb, your blood will be mine. Mine, forever mine.
Hi and welcome to the Soho Lift Spotlight. I'm Vanessa Ayiku and I'm really thrilled to be back here with Ali Cook.
Yeah, lovely to see you
Welcome
again.
back.
Thank you.
So you're old hat to Soho Lift, right?
I am, yes.
I'm going to test you now. So
Okay.
2020, you won 3 Soho Lift awards.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were?
Best Supporting Actor, which I think was for myself.
Okay, yes it was.
And then Best Lead Actor,
Yep.
which was for Simon.
Yep.
And then Best Fantasy.
Absolutely right. High five and 10 out of
I
10
was
for you.
just looking it up 2
Okay,
minutes
good.
ago.
Well, we're thrilled to have you back again, and this time for our horror movie, The Pearl Code.
Yep, that's right.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about
Uh-huh.
the story without giving too much away?
So it's a period drama
Mm-hmm.
set in 1893, and a Cornish fisherman's wife is the first person ever to cure someone of tuberculosis. Now, back in those days, like TB was kind of like the cancer of the day.
Yeah.
So a doctor, a very stuffy doctor, is sent from London to investigate. And he's kind of hell-bent on proving that a woman's place is in the house and not practicing medicine.
Yeah.
And then he discovers the source of her unearthly power.
Haha. We like that little cliffhanger there, so
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
will have to come in January and watch to find out.
Exactly, yeah.
How did the idea come about? Is it on some sort of folk tale, or is it completely
very
imagined?
loosely, sort of based on old tales about mermaids. So a mermaid features in the story.
Indeed.
And I wanted to... I quite like the idea... I loved what Disney did years ago, but instead of turning ancient stories into family films, I like to try and be as authentic to the original tales. So instead of sort of turning a mermaid into a Disney princess in, say, a teen adult drama,
Yeah.
I like to make them really evil.
Yeah.
Closer to
The fact that it's a horror.
Yeah.
It's a horror movie.
So I like the idea of sort of doing the opposite of Disney with ancient tales. So that was one inspiration. But then the other inspiration was a true story that my partner told me about, which was that the first few doctors in Britain were not allowed to practice if they were female.
Right.
And so it was a famous story, the Edinburgh Seven, the first few female doctors. And basically the whole medical community did anything they could to try and stop them practicing.
Wow.
So that sort of features later on within the movie.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Casting in this film as well is amazing. How did you go about casting, particularly the females in the film? So the lead actress and also the mermaid, of course.
Well, the lead actress, we were very lucky to get B.T. Edney, who is famously the wife in Highlander, the horror film.
Right.
And she was also more recently in BBC One's Paul Dark. You know, she's a very famous British actress. And basically, Amy, who I work with, her mum is obsessed with B.T. Edney from Paul Dark.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm looking for someone to play a Cornish fisherman's wife. And they were like, you've got to try and get BT. So we really did everything we could to try and get BT. And then Simon, who was the lead in my first short film,
Right.
he plays the husband. So that's how I knew Simon already.
Yeah.
I'm playing the doctor, so I wrote that role for myself. And then the really tricky one is, how do you get a mermaid?
Yeah. Have you done it before?
Exactly. Like it was one of those ones where I think everyone's like, yeah, cool, but then it's like, hang on a minute, I've actually got to play a mermaid.
What am I looking for?
And that was quite tough. That really was tough. And then we ended up going with Clara Paget, who was...
What were you looking for, though?
So that is a good question. So looking for someone who is striking in sort of a classic kind of model-y way.
Right.
But someone who's kind of simultaneously terrifying. Now, I'm not sure if it's a compliment.
I was going to say, did you tell her that?
But Clara definitely pulled it off. And she was amazing. And
Absolutely.
so, and I think I wanted someone veering more towards the terrifying. And Clara was incredible at it.
And encompass that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so was the visual, especially for the mermaid, was the visual already in your head of how that was going to play out and that transition from being the kind of serene to the slightly, well, not slightly, very, I don't want to give it away, but
Yeah.
terrifying.
There was in my mind, this is how I sort of saw it, that, when you watch The Lion King, the lions look magnificent. But when you see a real lion in the wild, they look a little bit emaciated and hungry. And because they're a wild creature that hunts. So I kind of wanted the mermaid to have that feel, that she's a real creature that has to live off humans. And that was what I was going after. So although she is very striking at first glance, you kind of get the idea that she really is a real creature. And that was my way to try and make a fantastical figure seem more realistic.
Absolutely, that kind of transition from the serene fantasy almost of what we expect.
The fantasy of sort of the lusty mermaid into the very real killer.
The raw, exactly.
Yeah.
And so with things like creative, I guess costume and makeup for the mermaid, who did you find to do that first of all, and how did you visualise that and translate that into what came across on the screen?
Well, the makeup was really tricky. So initially everyone went, "Oh, mermaid prosthetics," and there is a famous photo shoot of Lady Gaga dressed as a mermaid that's on one of the album covers, I think. But when we found out how much that cost, boom, that was straight out the window.
Maybe we'll just shoot from the waist up.
Well, we do whenever we can. I mean, my main thing is, if anyone wants to shoot a mermaid movie, don't, because it's very, very tough. So we in the end, we ventured more and more towards VFX, but being very smart with the VFX. Right. In other words, if you see the top of a waist with a hint of a scale, that's implying wherever possible. But we used a lot of VFX, but we did use a lot of makeup. But the makeup, in the end, we tried all sorts. We had fins, prosthetics. But what actually happens is a lot of that stuff is not easy to do, and it takes a lot of time. Yeah. So in the end, we had really good nails that were kind of kind of vampiric nails. Yeah. And we kind of made her look sort of bluish and like a fish, but kind of cold-blooded. And
all that was planned for post. You kind of was it trial and error, and then you went, okay, we're going to do this afterwards, and we're going to create.
No, we did it before we shot. I found that this was a very VFX heavy film, and you've got to know it going in, otherwise you're in a hole.
How much you can do, and suddenly
well, basically it becomes too crazy costs.
Right.
So there's a sort of there's a discipline in having a very fixed shot list, I think, because then this is definitely our VFX shot for this scene, right? And then for this scene, and so you're not going to veer from that really. Okay. And in a way that also actually helped us in the long run, I would say. Yeah.
And is that so? You're talking about budgets and stuff here. How many hats did you have on for this production?
So I was a director and the writer. We made it during. I'm one of the actors, yeah. So I'm keeping costs as balanced. Because it was my second short, The Cunning Man, my friend directed. I wanted to see if I could handle the pressure of directing. But I did have my friends producing it. Okay. And with a short at this level, because it was a very high-end production, you have to, because there's no way. Although I'm involved with the production, there's no way I could take the reins on that. You've got to stay in your lane. Yeah.
And was that a kind of comfort thing to surround yourself with a crew that were friends, so you felt comfortable to be able to?
So Matt Wilkinson, I've actually been in some of his features. Okay. He doesn't really do shorts anymore, but the truth of it was, the writer's strike was on. No one's making proper films, and so I was like, "Oh, will you make my short?" And they all went, "Go on then." But having the experience of you might say real producers helping. Yeah. To be honest, what they do is they just get to decisions quicker, because they just do it for a living. So I think
they know what's what, and
they know what's what, and I think quite often the great experience of a short is you learn to make decisions, but when you're suddenly with feature film producers, they're just like, we need to know, you know, so and everything's scheduled, so it's like your edit's 3 weeks, then you're in post, and there's no like, well, I might change this or I might change that.
Get on with it, yeah.
It's just like, get on with it.
And you know that maybe their time is limited as well, and if you don't do it soon, they'll be off.
They'll be off onto the next thing. So in a way, we were kind of lucky to get that outfit to help. Yeah.
And the production value is amazing. It's a stunning piece. And I love a period drama as well, and I love all the twists and turns of the plot.
Yeah. Well, again, we were lucky there. So I had the same DOP as The Cunning Man, my friend Dave, who wanted to do this. He's an amazing DOP. He does a fantastic job. And then, you know, he gets his friends in to help light it. And then we had a lady called Izzy Perello doing the production design.
Okay.
Which is amazing. First time I'd met her, but she really put her heart and soul into it. As did everyone.
How did you find her? Was she a friend of his?
The production design was very tricky because we had someone lined up, and then they went off to do a feature that had been cancelled, and then everything started up again. Yeah. And then so that was quite last minute. And then again, you know, the costumes, we had this lady called Connie Woods, was amazing. And I just sort of felt like everyone was into it, and we all had a bit of a laugh.
That's good.
Yeah, you know, it's always like
you like, and you know, it makes things run smoothly, right?
Considering how technical, I mean, it was an absolute technical nightmare.
What was the most challenging thing then?
Weirdly, as people see, there's a scene where a mermaid shoots out of the water from the sea, and it's a nighttime boat scene. That was it's only like 20 seconds long, but it took just over a day to do it.
I was going to ask you about that, filming at night and at sea. Was it there? Was it staged? How did you?
So it was all VFX.
Okay.
So I know. So you wouldn't know it.
No, we do now.
But we basically had a small rowing boat with two burly men underneath rocking it.
Really?
Covered in blue screen.
You've got to have some stills, right, of that.
There's just two guys with sticks doing this all day. And then we were just basically instead of using blue screen for the sky, we used black screen, just like this black box.
Yeah.
And then the VFX guys filled it in. And I think we were all a bit amazed how well it worked.
Because this is your first time using VFX and search to
well, in The
level.
Cunning Man, there was one VFX shot. In this, there was 96.
Wow.
So it was...
That's emblazoned on your brain. It's 96, 96.
Well, it kept going up, you know. You're like, oh, not again. So, you know, but we did, you know, it was a huge learning curve. And even for the VFX company, they'd never done a mermaid. Yeah. So even for them, it was a bit of an adventure. It was new for everybody,
Which is nice sometimes to have everybody kind of pushing in the right direction.
But also, that's also why you get a lot of enthusiasm, because a lot of VFX companies, they're often sort of painting things out that shouldn't be there, or painting out rain.
Run of the mill,
It was sort of run of the mill Merc. So for them, it was a great fun project as well.
Great.
Yeah.
And so what's the future? Are you looking at feature ideas, or what do you hope for the film itself?
Yeah, well, it's done very, very well. So we're at 40 awards now.
Wow.
So there's talk of a feature.
Nice.
But of course, when you first make something, you have no idea. You know, you do it and you send it out.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that, and then I'm also working on 2 other features.
Wow, not much going on.
But
just chilling.
But you know, you know, you do it, and then you say, I've had this great idea. It could be 10 years from now if it happens, you know. So
it's in the pipeline, and you heard it here first. We're really looking forward to screening your film in January for Soho Lift. We'll hope you'll come down.
I'll be here. Yeah, I'll be here.
Fantastic. So we will see you then.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Brilliant. Thanks for coming, Ali. Great to see you again.
Thank you.
So everybody else that would love to see The Pearl Comb, it will be here at Soho Lift in January 2026. We'll see you then.